Hey, what is up, guys? My name is Cameron Gallagher from We Are Film, and today we're taking a look at the Triune Digital Bizarre LUTs pack. I know, weird, right? So Triune Digital did send this over, and of course we have nothing to do with them. We're not sponsored. They don't pay us for anything at all. But I wanted to talk about these LUTs because when Ryan sent them over, I was a little bit skeptical. I thought, bizarre LUTs? Well, that's kind of weird. Like, when would I use them, and why would I use them? So these are 27 different artistic and aesthetic LUTs, and they're inspired by infrared photography, which is really cool, and there's definitely some amazing settings when it comes to that. But I actually find that these are a lot better than you think. Don't look at these as, oh, I'm not going to ever use these, or they're, not something that I would like use that often, or no, actually, I found that these are really, really awesome. So let's jump in. I actually have a wedding clip here, right? Not bizarre. We're going to go into the Triune Bizarre LUTs pack here. Now, again, if I'm using DaVinci Resolve, but you can use these LUTs in anything, Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro X. Just figure out how to install them or use the LUTs. Triune Digital actually has a PDF that can show you how to install them. But we're going to go into the standard here. And what I like to do, as always, I'm going to turn that off, is these are only, at least the pack that I have is only for Rec 709. I honestly don't know if it's maybe for others, but I'm going to tell you what, I prefer to go to Rec 709 anyway. So as always, I'm going to make a new node, or in DaVinci Resolve, or excuse me, Premiere Pro, you can just make a new layer. I'm going to convert my clip to a Rec 709 color space. So boom, here we go. Rec 709, it looks normal, right? So let's kind of go through some of these and see what they look like. So we have our first one, the second one. This has a very teal and orange look to it. This one's kind of like a faded film. I actually really dig that one. Butterfly, Karina. I'm not going to try to pronounce these because they're really weird. But you can see they're not as like insane as you'd think. They look really nice, like really nice. And I've actually graded a lot of weddings with these LUTs because I find that they add a really nice, just naturalistic touch. They have like a very filmic look, some of them do. And I mean, you can see as I'm just going through some of these, a lot of them really accentuate different tones too. Some of them are very cool, some of them are very warm, some of them are sort of everything in between. So for instance, let's pretend like we were doing this clip. I think I like, let's see if I can remember where it is here. One of these I really, really love. This one right here, the Hercules. So like this, I would love, and what I would do is, and remember, I always kind of talk about LUTs are not just a plug and go. Now, if you were looking for a more of a faded film look like this has this really faded look, and you're sort of getting rid of the blues and greens, and it's very warm, but you can always go in and add a little bit of contrast, and a little bit, just a little bit more like that. And I mean, look at that, like that looks amazing, right? Like that's something that I would use on a wedding film, no problem. When you see with and without, when we turn the LUT off, that looks good, but again, it just kind of has that real stylized look to it. So although these are bizarre LUTs, they're not as weird as you might think, but let's grab some other clips and I'll show you sort of the weird aspects of them. Okay, so this is going to be a prime example of sort of the weird, bizarre aspects of these LUTs. And the reason being is because we can see grass, we can see the sky, we can see a little bit more, which I think these are, the inspiration, of course, being the infrared photography, are more obviously aimed towards landscapes and larger stuff like that. So we're going to show you what they can look like now in a more bizarre atmosphere, where obviously this one I really like, and I think that's less bizarre and just a great LUT. So it's doing what it needs to do. But so you can see here that, I mean, this has a really cool look, and some of these have a really interesting look. Like you can see this one obviously is pulling a lot of the reds out. In certain aspects, it's making the greens red, and then obviously skin tones are kind of disappearing. And same with this. And I mean, just some of the looks are so cool. And you can see the purple grass. Like you could be doing something really trippy. And that's what I think is awesome for these, is although some of them are really, really great just in general, you can definitely see where this could have a really cool stylized look. I mean, like this right here is awesome. Talk about if you were doing like a space movie or something where you're on a different planet, or very color out of space, where the trees are purple, that kind of thing. There's just so many different variations. I actually love this one. This is a great example of if you want it to look very fall. And the cool thing is, so let's say we do that and we jump in here, right? And we grab our color web, and again, Resolve, you could do something similar. We move their skin tone, right, a little bit more back to normal. And look, suddenly, like let's turn these off, right? So this is our green. I mean, granted, it's kind of fall, but let's say this is our green, summer wedding. Suddenly we throw this bizarre LUT and we throw a little bit of a correction, and now we have this like ultra hybrid, ultra saturated fall look. Now we could actually tone this down, and that's one of the coolest parts. So let's actually go in, right? And let's say, okay, this looks cool, but it looks way too much. So let's say we don't want it to look this extreme, right? Well, simply and easily what we can do is we can go in and we can actually, we're actually going to go to our node key. So this is the node. This is basically saying our opacity. So if you're in Premiere Pro or Final Cut Pro, you can just make the layer a different opacity. And we're going to turn down the gain. And suddenly, now granted, it looks more dead, which maybe you could be in or out about, but we can bring the saturation up a touch. And look at that. Suddenly, if we go back, this is our original clip, and this is now what we just did. So we kind of turned it into fall and sort of made it look normal. And that's the cool thing about these bizarre LUTs is there's just so much you can do. Let's bring that back up to 1. And obviously there's, again, just a ton of cool variations. Again, all inspired by the infrared photography. But like this one, you can see this one's not really like super crazy, which is nice. And you could do some kind of fun stuff to that and maybe warm it up a touch, something like that. And that's a good looking LUT. That makes a really big difference on your image. So these are very cool. And although they definitely are made for more bizarre aspects, I think you could totally use these on a lot of different projects, doing a lot of different cool things. Like, this LUT right here has a very like cold look, or a very desaturated warm look. And again, you could use that for a lot of different stuff. So these bizarre LUTs are bizarre, obviously, and they're made for that infrared photography look. But I must say, in general, they are really good LUTs that you can use and offset some of the normal stuff you might do. So it's great when you're looking for a style or looking for a type of color for your project, and maybe you're kind of stuck or you're not feeling, into whatever you're trying to do. You could jump in, you could grab a different clip and try one of these bizarre LUTs on there, and I think it could definitely surprise you. And I think just in general, you'll be surprised at how well these work on a lot of footage. So definitely this is one of the worth it packs in my case for the Triune Digital store. And again, be sure to check out the link down in the description below for the actual link to the Triune Digital store to get these bizarre LUTs. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later.